Alright, well, let me just adjust the camera a little bit. Yeah, that's probably the best angle to put it in. Yeah, so welcome back, guys. This is the the third Clone Wars video I'm doing in a row, and this is going to be the last one for a while because I still need to get through season 1 of the Clone Wars. And now before we actually get into, the actual series itself, seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, we still need to talk about the Clone Wars movie, which is semi important if you want the full jizz of, I guess, the whole Clone Wars story and whatnot, sort of have you. Now, actually, I'm going to be talking about the movie very. I'm not really going to be talking much about it just for reasons, is because, there's not really much really to talk about. At least for me, there's nothing interesting that, like, really stood out from the Clone Wars movie. Now, one thing that I do want to get out of the way here is that I don't really hate the Clone Wars movie. Um, but it just should have not been a movie. If you don't know what the behind the scenes of this movie, George Lucas basically thought, oh well, this is a pretty good episode. So this should be a movie, and that's basically what happened. And let's just say the Clone Wars did not have a great start. It definitely had some rough areas and had a lot of shit that was going against it and all that sort of stuff when the movie came out. It suffered from not only because of the story is just really bland. It's just your average run of the mill. These episodes easily just could have been they just could have been easily just been normal episodes, but instead, instead put it into a movie. Which, this isn't freaking movie material. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Clone Wars arcs that do deserve to be movies. And I could see probably why they just never really attempted another why they never attempted, just another Clone Wars movie. But I really honestly felt like Siege of Mandalore should have maybe been a second try. But hey, I don't know. Maybe Disney isn't really wanting to invest a lot of stuff into that sort of thing. But all right. But anyways, well, to be quite fair, also, I don't know. But anyways, what I was going to say, I was going to say is that it's just the Clone Wars movie. It's really weird for me because initially I kind of liked it because okay, it was weird because this movie was promoted a lot during 2008, and at the time during 2008, really, to be quite honest, that really could have gotten me really more interested into the Clone Wars, but it just really didn't. I was still stuck in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, which, as you could see, I love those two. I love those 2 points in the saga, and hell, we even got the Mandalorian stuff going on there. But as you could just tell, that I am just a big prequel. I'm a big prequel fan, and also a very big original trilogy fan. I love both of them, and this really wasn't something that I don't know. It really wasn't for me at the time, though. But I guess I can mention some interesting stuff. This is the first. This is the first um appearance of Ahsoka, and this sort of sets up, what will Ahsoka, later, I guess, do in the series. And I'm trying to find my water here because, damn, wow, I don't know what, my throat's been messed up all morning, but like I said before, this is where Ahsoka is introduced, so that's something that's also interesting. Also, another thing that's also interesting to point out, and also some pretty cool trivia, is this is the last Star Wars project that had both Christopher Lee and Samuel Jackson play both of their respective characters. This was the last time they both played Count Dooku, and of course, Mace Windu. And of course, Sir Christopher Lee, of course, passed away in 2015, and Samuel Jackson is still waiting for the call from Disney that we're gonna bring Mace Windu back. And besides, we all Star Wars fans want that. We want Mace Windu back. But other than that, really, with this movie, I don't know. It's really weird because actually, there are actually two Clone Wars, two regular Clone Wars episodes that take place before this. There's Cat and Mouse, where like there's Admiral Trench, where he makes his first appearance, and then his only other appearance is then in season 6 and 7. And then there's also when the 501st and the 212 and Anakin and Obi-Wan were down on the planet of Christophsis, and while the battle was going on, before Ahsoka arrived, when Yoda basically gave Anakin his Padawan and all that sort of stuff. There was a clone that basically betrayed basically the clones and all that sort of stuff, and that was really interesting. That whole entire episode was a really interesting one because he was one of the clones. Because basically he was one of the clones that just basically disobeyed orders and basically just didn't want to comply anymore, and just as basically said and basically is implying, and this is something that the Republic. This is one of the reasons as to how just the Republic, its downfall, because because the Republic, it's corrupt. Basically the clones are slaves. And in the series, of course the clones, they have. I love the clones, man. They have really great stories, and that was just the beginning. If you watch this in order, that's just the freaking beginning of the clones and their story. And hell, even their story still continues into the Bad Batch. And all that sort of stuff. So it's really cool. And I guess another thing I also wanted to mention too about this movie was back in 2008, or really when this was going around, a lot of people were upset for the fact that Anakin had an apprentice, or basically had a Padawan. And there's some really good criticism as to why in the context of the story. Because if you really think about it, before this movie, it's Attack of the Clones. And in Attack of the Clones, Anakin's a freaking idiot. Literally, he's impatient when it comes to battles. Of course, he used his head. Basically, he didn't use his head when going up against Count Dooku, and he got his lightsaber, destroyed, and he got his arm cut off. And all that sort of stuff. And I do like the reasoning as to why, because this is to teach Anakin more responsibility. And also, can I also mention for the fact that Matt Lanter in this season, at least I noticed, he really tried his best to try to mimic Hayden Christensen, at least in the way he talks. If you get what I mean, you get what I mean. But, that's something I just wanted to point out. And besides, I've never been pissed off about the fact that Anakin had a Padawan. Now, of course, regardless, I didn't really also hate Ahsoka either, because I really also relate to Ahsoka, because she's, the kid, and, and of course, when you watch these Clone Wars episodes, you feel like you're Ahsoka, and all that sort of stuff, so, yeah. I guess another thing I can also mention that really didn't make this whole thing, and this is something. The reason why I really boycotted watching seasons 1 of the Clone Wars is that the animation looks really bad. Like, it wasn't up to perfection at this time. Like, it was really bad. So, yeah, so that's basically what I have to say about the Clone Wars movie. And, yeah, and, I wasn't really much excited to do this video because it's super negative and all that sort of stuff. But hopefully, besides, also the next video, and officially the next video, is going to be the No Way Home review. So just keep that in mind. I'm still watching the Clone Wars. I still need to get through one season, and then I'll have my full thoughts on the seasons, and we'll bring you the reviews whenever. So, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, comment down below what you thought of the Clone Wars movie, and do you think that there should be another Star Wars animated movie? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and we will see you in the next video.